welcome back everyone to the Blender Creator course Stylized 3D Model, and this is where we left it off. Alright then, let's move this over here, and then what we'll do is we'll go 7 over the top, and we can see that this is probably going to be pretty huge, as you can see. So let's make it a little bit smaller and more viable. So first of all, what I'm going to do is put it down near the guy, and it is a stylized scene, but we still, want to keep within the realms of possibility. So I'm going to make it probably around that sort of size. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift it up like so, and I'm going to put it somewhere around here, but I want it to hang down. So remember, it's going to be hanging in front of the door. So if I press 1, just make sure my guy's down on the ground plane, and my door's going to come around here. And then this is going to hang down kind of around here like so. And I think that sort of distance hanging down maybe a little bit lower like there. And let's pull it out a little bit just so it comes in front of this as well. Yeah, and I think something like that's going to look pretty nice. All right, so now let's bring in just the piece of wood that are going to hold this all together. So rather than create new piece of wood, we'll just do the same thing where we've got in our asset manager. I'm going to go to wooden blocks. I'm going to put this onto material so I can see what I'm doing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to pick 1. So 1 meter, RZ 90. And I will be speeding through a lot more of this now with the actual building, because we've pretty much done a lot of this already. Now, when we bring this up, let's make this a little bit smaller. So S, let's make it a little bit smaller. Let's pull it out a little bit like so. And if we need to stretch it out, S and X, let's pull it out as well. And then what I'll do is I'll use this one again. So I'm going to press Shift D, bring it down, RZ 180 just to change how it looks. And then R and X 90. And then let's spin it round, so R, X, or Z in this case, because we have this normal on. So let's put it on global, RX, and there we go. Now it's spinning round. Now what we want to do is you want to make sure that it's secured on the bottom of here. So what I'm going to do is R, X, like so. And then let's bring it in now. So S, X, let's bring it in like so. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Now we need some actual chain. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the chain from our other Blender file. So it'll be under user library, and it's going to be under, let's have a look. We've got one that's called geometry nodes, and here is our chain. Let's bring that in. Now this chain is very, very nice, and you want to use this a lot. So over, first of all, on the right hand side, you can see we've got resolution, chain link distance, and all of these things. But first of all, before we do that, let's actually go into the geometry node. Let's actually make sure our chain's actually selected. Let's zoom out. And basically what this chain is, it's actually made up from a couple of circles. So there's a couple of circles, as you can see. So if you think of just these two here, and then what we've done is we've turned that into mesh. And then what we've done is we've rotated. So every single other point along this curve, the actual chain is actually rotated round. And then what we've done is we've just realized it into, realized instances, and then set the material for this. Now, of course, with the set material, I think actually, let's see if we can have a group input so I can actually change that. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm just going to see if I can pull this out and put in group input. And I'm thinking, there we go. Now we can actually change the material on the fly. Now I'm going to leave that material as it is, but it's really, really great that we can actually change that as well. Because basically now I can come in and, click this off and then click a new material without actually going into the geometry node. So that's it. It's pretty much based on that. And now what I'll just show you is how it actually works. So the resolution is basically how many, little chunks of this. If I turn this up, you can see the chain becomes really, really rounded. The chain link, if I turn it down, actually, you can see we can get some really nice kind of stylized look to it. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I'm not too happy with that. And then what we've got is the chain link distance. So this is how far away the chains are from each other, as you can see. Then we've got the chain radius. So this is how big each chain is. So you can get some really, really chunky effects. Then we've got the chain thickness, which is this one, as you can see. And of course, this is why we've done the chain link distance, because if you're having something chunkier, it's going to actually increase or decrease the chain distance. Then also we've got chain stretch, which is how much these actual links are stretching. So you can see it's stretching like so. And that's basically it. So let's go back and put it on that, and I think I'm happy with that. And now what can we do with this? The best thing about this is if I press tab, coming over to my drawer, and then just go wee like this, and you'll see we have chain that's actually just been drawn out. Now that's really good and all that. Can we use it on another piece of curve? And what I'm going to do first of all is just delete that. So I'm going to go all the way to there, delete vertices, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift A, curve, and come to, I want a path, so I'm going to bring in a path. Here's my path here, and then what I'm going to do now is with this I'm going to click sometimes you have to click new in the down arrow. I'm just going to try the down arrow and go to chain, click that on, and you can see there nothing happened. Sometimes that happens, I'm not sure why. So what I tend to do is just click new and then click the down arrow, put it onto chain, and there we go. Now let's actually fix this chain then how we want it. Now luckily for us as well, we can actually move this on the fly. So RY90, like so. Let's press Shift Spacebar to bring in my move tool. And I'm just going to put it over here, just so I can start kind of get an idea of what this is going to look like. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, like so. And then what I'm going to do now, first of all, is I'm going to increase the resolution, because we don't want some triangles like this. So let's increase that resolution to something like there. Let's increase the probably increase the chain thickness. I'm still going to make it a little bit smaller. I still feel like it's a little bit too big. And now once we've actually increased the size, decrease the size of this, then I can actually put it in place, spin it round, so RZ90, and then actually look at where I'm actually going to put it, and things like that. So I can see it's fitting in the wood nicely there. It's not quite in the center, so I'm just going to move it across a little bit. And then what I'm going to do now is just have a look. And I'm thinking that the whole thing, so including this, needs to come down a little bit, like so, and it all needs to go across a little bit, and then double tap the A, and let's have a look at that. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. I can now go in and increase the, let's increase the chain thickness a little bit, like so. Let's now increase the change distance, so let's bring it just a little bit up, like so. And there we go. I think I'm happy with how that looks. All right, so now what I can do is I can actually go in and I can delete these ones out. So I can delete these, delete vertices, and nope, not that last one. So we'll untick this last one, delete vertices, and that's what we should be left with. And now finally, I'm just going to turn this now into an object. So object, convert to mesh, and there we go. Now I'm going to hide my light out the way. And I know that it's the first three links. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with L, delete vertices. All right. So now let's have a look at what the material should be. So the material on these, I'm just looking on my other screen, and I think it should be light metal. So let's see if these actually have light metal on them. So if I click on this, chain base material. So we're not going to leave that on there. So we could have changed it on the geometry node. I thought it was that one, but hey-ho, it's not. So what we're going to do now is we'll bring in our new material. So let's go back to Asset Manager, to our materials, and we have one called light metal. Here it is. Let's press dot, and let's actually drag and drop this onto my chain, let it load up, and that's what it's going to look like. Now, the thing is with metal, always remember, it will never look the same in your materials panel as what it does in your rendered view. So just take that into account. So now we've got light metal on there. Let's put this on rendered view once we've brought our light back. So double tap the A, and you'll see the complete difference in how it looks. All right, so I think I'm happy with that. It's got a lot of lighting on it. The other thing is as well that I forgot to say is on your material view, you can actually come down, click this down arrow, and bring in scene lights and the scene world at the same time while you're actually just in the material view, which is sometimes actually really, really handy. Now, it will have a cost associated with it, of course, because you're actually dealing with lights, and lights are one of the most, costly things in a scene in Blender. So just take that. Volumetrics is simulations and lighting. They are the things that cost the most, as well as if you've got like really, really big textures. So 4K textures everywhere will also cost a lot of RAM to actually run. All right, nevertheless, we've actually done that. So what we'll do now on the next lesson is, I think we'll make a start on our other window up here. I think we'll get that out of the way. And then we'll actually start fixing the other parts of the wall where we want to change it. And I think finally then we might actually start on this roof. And then we should have a lot of these parts already done, ready to actually put round the other sides. All right, everyone, so I'm going to save out my work. I hope you're really enjoying the course so far, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.